Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the screen, so you know what I'm about. So let's get to it. All right, so you're seeing something on the screen right now, and it's really, honestly, just sad. Basically, I'll read it out for those that aren't literally watching the screen. Basically, it's a lady. She's saying, my husband of 6 years is divorcing me because he discovered that our firstborn is not his child. A friend sold me out, and my husband demanded a paternity test, which came out negative. The child is 5 this year. Am I wrong to think that my husband is overreacting? He loves this child and has been a good father from birth. Why is he letting a mere test change all this? The child is still the same, intelligent, humble, loving, and cute. Why can't we pray about it and invite God into our house? I'm so drained right now. Well, I'm going to be honest. Let's go through this in a multitude of ways, right? So the very first is I honestly have to agree with one of the commenters and basically be like, you probably should have invited God in your house 6 years ago before you invited another man into your pants, right? That one has 496 likes. And I have to, to stand on that one. And I have to be honest, we cannot continue to give people a pass for bad behavior. And when I say this, I'm saying it to both women and to men. Okay, I don't give men a pass. I don't believe in this whole high value man can go around and cheating on his wife and all this other kind of stuff. Okay, you've never heard me talk about that. I never will talk about that. And that's not what I believe. But it's the same thing. See, women have been able to get away with this for years. Honestly, for centuries. In fact, one of the first things people tend to do when a baby comes out is they almost always say things like, oh, to the father, oh, that baby looks like you. They love to speak that into being because they're really trying to get the man to line up, and to accept that child, as his own. And we're having more and more paternity tests coming out showing that the husband or the longtime boyfriend was not the father. And see, I'm gonna be real. I understand that women have a high sexual energy. I've said that all the time. I'm not playing games with women when they say, oh, we're not like that, blah, 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 because I'm gonna be real with you. What I understand about women's sexual nature, I've spent time really studying it. And what you end up with is like the old school pimps and players would say, either a woman is a freak or she hasn't met the person to help her become the freak that she really is on the inside. And I actually don't see there to be a problem with a woman having her fullness of her sexual energy as long as it's with her man, i.e. hopefully her husband. Right? Because I believe that once you're married, freak out, do whatever it is that you want to do, hang from the ceiling, whatever it is, knock it out. The Bible says that the marriage bed is not defiled. Okay, so go have fun. I want you to have fun. Okay, I believe God wants you to have fun, as crazy as that sounds. All right, but cheating and doing all of this, I'm not going to give you a pass. I'm not going to give, anybody a pass, like I say, male or female, and especially a woman when you're trying to put a child onto the man. No, I'm just not going to do it. And I'm going to be real, and I'm just going to be straight up. In our modern society, unless you marry a woman and she's a virgin, I really truly believe that every single man should get a paternity test. Every single man. I'm sorry. I just do. It won't hurt you. They really don't cost that much, and it'll save you a lot of grief. And there's really nothing that the mom can do to stop you from doing it because she don't have to know. See, some of y'all so silly that y'all will actually tell the woman what you gonna do. And that's always been amazing to me. You never show your hand. Like if you're playing cards, you don't show your hand until you know you won. All right? You don't show your hand early on. This is that place where as a man, you could basically, oh, girl, don't worry about it. We good. And then once that baby is like, 6 months old or 4 months old, then, you get you a DNA test in the mail or maybe at your mama house, or at your sister house. And then you go pick that, that test up because all they're going to do is swab the inside of the cheek. It ain't nothing major they got to do. You just swab the inside of the cheek, you put it in a little wrapper, you send it off. And in about, a couple of weeks, you're going to know. It really is that simple. And honestly, I believe they should do it mandatory at the hospital. I think it should all be a part of the process. And it should be there before, men sign the birth certificate because there's too much weight put on the birth certificate. As soon as a man signs the birth certificate, now the woman has the ability to go back and say, well, he signed the birth certificate. Even though he ain't the daddy, he signed the birth certificate. And there's been a lot of legal cases that go back to the birth certificate. And they still try to make the man pay something, even though, they found out he wasn't the daddy just because his name's on the birth certificate. And it's a shame that, people do this, but this is also one of the main reasons why I tell men, and I know, men don't like waiting, but I tell men all the time, you better wait. Because a lot of women, and I've said this a million times, a lot of women know the difference between good men and bad men. They do. And they know the man, that will take care of them. This is why I don't really play the game, where I say, there's no good men out here. Because when a woman is in need, she finds a good man like that. She has no problem finding that good man. But the problem is when she's trying to get her sexual fantasy, this is the man dripping with all of what she wants, and she's trying to get that man to take care of her. Because a lot of times that man is not a good man and she should have left him alone from the very beginning, but she doesn't. And she's trying to make this work. All right? But then the guy over here, who she might consider a little bit more lame, a little bit more boring, blah, 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 she still knows he's a good man. And what a lot of women, and it's really sad, I'm going to be honest with you, what's really sad about it is that a lot of women, when they spend time with the man that they think is lame, they find out he's 10 times better than the other guy. Not only will he take care of them, take care of the woman and love the woman, and be there for the woman, but once she kind of rides and dies with his personality a little bit and even his sexual energy, a lot of times women find that, oh, wow, that man really is great. And then she doesn't, many women, kind of give up on the old dude just simply by hanging out and allowing her sexual energy to change. But again, back to the men. This is why I'm just being real. Guys, don't be so quick to jump in with a woman. Because when a woman shows up and she's very quick to have sex with you, she might already be pregnant, especially if she's known you for a while. So she's known you, everything's good, she's going through some trouble, and then now she's opening the door to have sex with you real quick. And then you have to think, okay, why, I ain't seen you in 3 months or a year, and now you're coming over, and within 2 or 3 days, you are more than okay with having sex. When we was dating or we was hanging out, you didn't halfway even want to touch me, but now you're telling me you're vulnerable and, you need this and all this other kind of stuff. And then what you'll find out, the baby timing doesn't line up because it takes almost 10 months. Most people don't know that. It takes almost 10 months. People say 9 months, but it's almost 10 months for the baby to come out. And so now the baby pop out at 8 months and it's fully formed. It's not like a preemie or anything. And then you're like, well, how'd that happen? And then a lot of men, I think they're just delusional. I think a lot of men just want the woman. They truly want the woman. They want to believe. Because maybe, the man really thought she was cute and all this other kind of stuff. And so you're just really trying to make this work, right? But you can't start a relationship on lies. That's not how you start a relationship. And ladies, just be honest. I mean, it really amazes me how many women don't understand that honesty will many times get them what they're looking for. You don't have to be this perfect person. For some guys, to be honest with you, if you show up and you say, look, I'm pregnant by this guy I knew I shouldn't have been messing with, and you're the guy I really should have been with, But what I would like to do, if you're open to it, is I would like to see if we could have a relationship. But, okay, I want at least to get this baby out first. Because I'm not trying to put this baby on you. I'm not trying to get you to do anything like that. I just want to, get this baby out and then, we can start talking about it. A lot of guys, you'd be surprised. Now, I know a lot of guys in the comments going to say, no, that ain't happening. And I do think a good portion of men will walk away. They might be willing to be your friend from a distance, but a good portion of men will walk away. But you will have some men that will basically be like, okay, well, you was kind of the woman I wanted. I don't like this situation. But, you will have a few. And that's going to do you better than you lying to him. And then he finding out 2 or 3 years later, or even in this case, 5 years later, because then he really going to leave. Because at that point, it's really a slap in the face and it's disrespectful. It's like I said, if you really want to get rid of a man really quick, disrespect him. Disrespect him. That's the easiest way to get rid of him. Okay, because there's very few men that are going to put up with that. And the only ones that are going to put up with that are like the hardcore, lame, simp type dudes. But if a man has anything going on with him, and if he's not suffering from depression or something like that, he's not going to put up with it. But again, this is why I tell men, when a woman pop over and you ain't seen her in a minute, or you just met her and she trying to have sex like in the first 2 weeks, you better, chill out. In this day and age, you better chill out. Because like I said, a lot of women, they understand. And they know they can, a lot of women can sniff a good man from a long, far away. And they'll be real quick to try to hurry up and lock you down with that baby. And then you'll be like this, that, and the third. Okay, and you'll be upset about it. And I'm going to be real with you. You can't even, as a man, because like I said, from a godly perspective, I'm encouraging you to wait, from a godly perspective. But if you just, can't help yourself, I'm just going to be real. If you decide to even have sex with this woman in the first month, then what I'm going to encourage you to do is definitely use a condom. And then once you get done, don't fall over and go to sleep. You better get your butt up. You better go to the sink and you better turn that condom upside down and flush everything down that doggone drain. And you better turn the faucet on and watch it go down for about 30 seconds. And then rinse the condom out. Okay? And then after that, chop that bad boy up and throw it in the toilet or something. Okay? You better do it all. Because they've had this happen where women will go in and they will find the condom. They'll get up in the middle of the night and they'll find the condom. All right? And then they will basically push that all up inside of themselves. And then they really do have a baby by you. Okay, and then people have had to pay. Men have had to pay, for this kind of trickery. So don't allow yourself to get caught up in that. And that's why I'm always encouraging you all, go 90 days. Both men and women. You've heard me say that to both men and women. And who tells men to wait 90 days? Nobody tells men to wait 90 days. But these women out here, you can't trust them. All right. Now, I'm not saying all women are bad. I think that there's a lot of really great ones, but you don't know. You just met the woman. Or even if you've known her, like I said, you might have known her a month ago or 2 months ago, but then she kind of comes back in your life and you like, well, why are you here? And she might just be at that point where she's just like in a desperate situation. Like I said, she already might be pregnant. You don't know what the situation is. And then you putting yourself in a place where you're going to have a whole lot of drama, okay, when you could have just waited a month and be like, oh, I'm just going to see how this rolls. I'm going to see how this work out. And we're going to see what she's really after. Okay, because like I say, a lot of women are good. Don't get me wrong. But you don't know. And it's the same thing for women. A lot of men are good, but ladies, you don't know. So the best thing for you to do is to take your time. All right. But I'm sorry. I don't agree with this lady. I'm sorry. This is her fault. Okay. She feels like her marriage is falling apart, but she did this to herself. Now, do I think that the man should stay? Like I said, that's on him. Okay? Maybe that family is everything he could hope for. Maybe he can work to get over it. But I also ask, why should he? If they haven't had any more children, okay, what's in it for him? And I think a lot of women do have to think that way. It's not all about you. And that's why I'm always saying, try to find people who are selfless. Because this is not a woman who is selfless. She was selfish. And she might not be selfish in everything that she does, but she did this selfish act to protect herself. Because she was trying to protect her life. And so therefore she leaned into selfishness. And even if it was for a brief moment, she still leaned there. And so she'll do it again if she's pressed against the wall. And that's why I'm always telling you all, look for people who are selfless. But I'm also talking about, and I've been talking about this more and more recently, is you have to watch for things like depression. You have to watch for things like trauma. You have to watch for things where people are in an agitated or highly emotional state. Because people will do things in that emotional state that they normally wouldn't do, and then they will wrap you up in it. And what I've learned is when these people are going through it, you just have to let them go through it. You can help them from afar, but you have to protect yourself as they're going through it, or they will drag you down with them. Also know that at this point, I'm actually opening up membership. So if you guys want to become members, please do. At least twice a month, I know I'm going to have like an open forum, live Zoom call type thing. At least I'm going to start off with Zooms to see how they work. And, through, having a little bit of a payment, I'm also hoping that people are, a little bit more serious so we can get into those heavy duty questions, and maybe even a lot of the women will feel a little bit more comfortable asking questions, because it might be a different type of environment than just the open forum that we have here on YouTube. So look down. The join button might already be there. So you can, if you're interested, come on out. I'm definitely going to be talking about this at least through, August or, early September or so, just to let everybody know it's there. So definitely, if you want to become a member, I'm just going to give you just a little bit more energy. Like I said, it'll allow you to ask direct questions. And then I like the open forum. I'm going to test it out with an open forum. And as long as everyone is open and polite and, helpful, we will keep the open forum, because that allows for people to talk to certain situations at different, places in the country, and also at different countries overseas as well. Because like I said, we want to get to this point of getting each and every last person married. All right. So again, please like, please subscribe, and I'm going to see you all in the very next video.